The First Crusade of the forces of Western Christendom to reclaim the holy sites of Palestine from Muslim forces took place between 1095 and 1099 AD. By the end of the war, the holy city of Jerusalem had been captured, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem had been created. The Knights Templar was a monastic order that came into being sometime around 1120 in Jerusalem in order to provide protection to the pilgrims from Europe visiting the Holy Land. Founded by a group of 9 French knights, the order's full title was the Poor Knights of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. Within a few decades, the group grew substantially and became an officially sanctioned Christian order backed by the Pope and by the combined monarchs of Europe. The order's sponsor, and the man who drew up the codes of conduct and oaths of poverty that the members followed, was Cistercian Abbot St. Bernard of Clairvaux, the chief spokesman of United Christendom, often called the Second Pope. Because of their members' vows of poverty and the donations they took from the wealthy pilgrims they escorted, the Templars quickly became rich. With wealth came power, and back in Europe after the Crusades, the influence of the Knights Templar grew. Pope Innocent II had exempted the Templars from all authority other than that of the papacy, so they were exempt from law. This same immunity allowed them to practice usury lending of money for interest, and they became major financiers to European kings. In the process, they created a structure that would later become the banking and finance industry. Perhaps making use of their legal immunities, the Templars held secret meetings and rituals at which the business of the order was conducted. The truth of what went on at these meetings has long been debated, but whether it was satanic worship or financial strategic discussions, the end was the same. By the start of the 14th century, King Philip, the Fair, of France was deeply in debt to the Templars. Rather than repay them, he chose to conspire with the Pope, Clement V, who resented Templar influence. On 13 October 1307, Philip had the Templars arrested for heresy, which allowed him to seize all their funds and torture the knights into confessing to a variety of bad deeds, including demon worship, possession of occult powers, trampling the cross, and sodomy. On 22 March 1312, the order was formally dissolved by Clement V's papal bull entitled Vox in Excelso. Holding on to power. It has long been held that Freemasonry was formed from the dying embers of the Knights Templar. Many Templars fled from Europe to Scotland, where the order was not suppressed. It is suspected that the order survives to the present day, both within Freemasonry and separate to it as an individual organization. Long used to manipulating governments and finance, the Templars have kept light hold on the reins of power, and still sit in the background of Western society, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves again. Compelling evidence. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for the continued existe NCE of the Templars is the existence of the Templar Research Institute, part of a mysterious group known as CIRCES International Inc., a non-profit-based fraternal charity. According to its charter, the Templar Research Institute is dedicated to chivalry, but conspiracy theorists, as they usually do, have their doubts. A believable ending. There is no need to look any deeper into the mystery of the Templars than the obvious facts. A greedy king and an unscrupulous pope wanted to get rid of their enemies, so they trumped up a load of charges and tortured the Templars for confessions, then shut the order down. The main suspects. The Freemasons. There is a fair amount of evidence to link the Templars to the Freemasons. Several Masonic degrees and rites draw explicitly on Templar imagery, and even use Templar titles. Given that the order fluid ed to Scotland and that there is a Scottish rite, or branch, the three rites are theoretically separate organizations of Freemasonry. The Templars could well have become the Freemasons, which would leave them still in power at the beginning of the 21st century. Or could it be the Assassins? The famed Assassins of the Middle East were the Phi Ghting force of the Ismaili sect of Islam ruled today by the Aga Khan. Known to work via Infi-LT ration, the Assassins may have compromised the Knights Templar during the Crusades as a way of gaining a foothold in the Western world, a foothold on which they have been building ever since. Several Masonic degrees and rites draw explicitly on Templar imagery,